My theory is that Neo is a program, always has been a program, and he doesn't know he's a program. Thus, the memory loss. But the architect kind of shedded light on this when they had their encounter. So I'm going to play some words from him, and then I'm going to chime in when I feel like it's good to interject to break this down how I see it in my mind. But we do know that the programs can leave the matrix and enter human bodies because Agent Smith did this. So if Neo was a program, it is very possible that he can leave and enter any human body that they inject him into once he comes out of the matrix. Let's listen to the architect.
Who are you?
I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human.
Now, he talks right there that the process has altered his consciousness, but he remains human. See, his mind, his consciousness thinks that he's human. That's just how I'm interpreting this, but let's continue.
Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concurrently, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Now, he says his first question is the most irrelevant. Why am I here? That's what he asked him. But think about this. Later on, he explains that he has actually been there 5 times prior to this. This is the 6th Matrix. So if Neo gets amnesia every time he is re-uploaded, then it is an irrelevant question because it's a question that he always asks every time he comes back. We also saw a foreshadowing of him seeing the architect in the preview trailers or the teasers because we see the white light as he walks through it.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from it.
So right there, he says he is an anomaly. He keeps happening and he's tried to eradicate him, but he cannot. So it's one of two things. One, he was created for the machines to keep control, or two, he's a program that somehow keeps resurrecting itself, and that's the title Resurrections, because he's had more than one life. This new movie being the 7th time he's been resurrected, and the architect cannot stop him from being reborn, even though he has been killed multiple times in the past.
What is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision? While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control.
So right there, he tells him pretty much that he's a burden, but it's not unexpected and it's not beyond the measure of control. The reason behind this, I believe that he says that is because, as I just stated, he's been here, done that, seen that. It's all happened before. This is just nothing new to him. It's brand new to Neo. But again, this same thing has played out 5 times previous. And maybe what it is the Matrix is always in our time. So maybe this reset, this Zion reset that happens is because they don't want to go past the golden age of human society before the AI was created, before the machines took over. Maybe there's something about this era that they have to stay in. So whenever they get to technologically enough to push AI, that's when the one pops up and that's when everything resets and then the whole thing plays out again.
Which has led you inexorably here.
You haven't answered my question.
Quite right. Interesting. That was quicker than the others.
Others? How many?
Now, see what he said? Interesting. That was quicker than the others. So now he's going to let you know that this has happened more than once. So maybe here Neo has some type of residual memory that's coming back that's speeding him up through this. Maybe that's why in the new movie he's seeing flashbacks from his last life that we watched. We don't know about the prior 5 lives that he's lived because we didn't see it, but we saw the trilogy. And maybe that's why he was surprised, the architect, about how much quicker he got to the point.
The Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
There are only two possible explanations. 5 months before. Either no one told me, I'm afraid, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to fucking You can't make me do anything!
Choice. The problem is choice.
The first Matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. It was a work of art, flawless, sublime.
So we can stop there. So what we do know is the first Matrix, nobody accepted it. And people kept escaping out of it and waking up to the real world because their minds could not accept something perfect, pure. So therefore, they were forced to be in the time period that we're at now. So again, I think that every time the Matrix resets, because we saw it reset and it reset back to the modern era of where it ended. So it could be that everybody gets wiped out of the system after so many years, and then it just starts back over. Now we're in the seventh Matrix. Now, judging off the previews or the teasers, nobody recalls any of this stuff happening with Neo previously. We got a flash of Trinity to where she didn't want to hold Neo's hand, although Trinity was killed at the end of the last movie. And then we also have a flash of Yaya's character, who people are trying to say he's Morpheus, and if he is Morpheus, there's a couple of things that goes with this. It makes it seem like that maybe machines are taking human bodies, coming out, going to Zion to lead them into the path of destruction so it doesn't change. The thing about Yaya's character is if he is Morpheus, it's a different body, just like we saw when Neo's in a different body. Secondly, we see him being created by what looks like nanobots, which no human body would be created by nanobots. So to me, this whole thing just seems like a scheme to keep humans under control, to have inside spies or moles that don't even know they're moles or spies. They're planner agents. That's how I see it. I know this was long and drawn out, but let me know what y'all think in the comment section. My conclusion is we're going to find out that Neo was never a human. He was always a machine, or the only other way I could see it playing out is Neo was a human, and he's the only human that set his mind free. So therefore, when his body was killed, his mind was not confined to that body. Somehow it found a way through the system to where it could become the ghost in another shell. Those are the only two options that I see that explains this old man Neo picture. He's either a machine that doesn't know he's a machine and he plays this role to trick the humans into their own defeat and then reset the Matrix so the same thing can happen again, rinse and repeat. Or two, he's a human that somehow, maybe in his first life, figured out a way to separate his mind from his body, and his mind drifts without the body into new bodies with no memory, and he's slowly starting to remember past lives, and that's why we're seeing flashes. It's one of the two, in my opinion. This is my theory. Let me know what y'all think. I normally I'll do, film theories, but I think I might be on to something.